U.S.-Saudi nuclear deal. Let's get into it. First, why it's important, why do we care? So, a few days ago this week, U.S. and Saudi Arabia announcing a new civil nuclear energy agreement. Something like this has been talked about for a long time. This isn't just a current administration thing. This has been talked about during the Biden administration, even before, during Trump 1, and essentially it was always being part of a larger deal. So it was never a standalone thing. Previously, you saw it being a part of Abraham Accords. So essentially, Arab countries, including Saudi Arabia, would normalize their ties with Israel. There was also some permanence or engraving of permanence of U.S. military bases within Saudi Arabia, and that they would continue the petrodollar system, so continuing selling 90+%, vast majority of Saudi oil to peg to the U.S. dollar. Oh, interesting to see it resurface here as like a standalone thing. This is probably due to a handful of things, at least that we think. One, just the sheer volatility of Operation Epic Fury and this start and stopping of it all. Has pissed off a lot of the Emirates as well as Saudi Arabia, and so to kind of keep them complacent, keep them happy, an offering of this. Probably not as a solo thing, but as again part of the larger deals that we talked about before. That's probably still going to be on the table. Second part of this too that has gone little talked about, but again has been in previous iterations of this conversation, is the continuation of the petrodollar system. Now, Saudi Arabia has flirted with the past of we don't like geopolitically what you're doing, U.S. So hey, we're going to flirt with selling our oil in yuan, Chinese yuan. Now that was always a fever dream. Their currency is literally pegged to the U.S. dollar. So for them to then take their main export, where they make all their GDP and revenue for the country, would be incredibly destabilizing for their local currency. So this was always kind of like a fever dream and always kind of like a flirtation that was never actually going to happen. But this is also probably part of the conversation as well as engraving some permanence in U.S. military installations in Saudi Arabia. Interestingly, this also comes as the U.S. is thinking about different options for a big nuclear enrichment site within Iran and striking that. It's called Pickaxe Mountain. Very hard to get at because obviously, normal missiles can't penetrate an entire effing mountain. So we're taking a look at other options, whether that's special forces. Believe it or not, what's being talked about is localized nuclear weapons. That's highly unlikely. Doubt that's actually going to happen, but nonetheless, it is in the conversation as wild as that sounds. Now, this is an Iranian nuclear enrichment site. So something that we continually say that we want to achieve outside of obviously just the political regime change, which is still obviously top of mind, but it's not letting Iran have nuclear weapon or nuclear enrichment capability. So bringing it back to the top, yes, we believe that the U.S. is going to be giving and working with and helping build nuclear energy technology inside Saudi Arabia. This also helps monopolize U.S. company access to the country as opposed to Russian builders or Chinese builders of nuclear energy facilities. Look, the other aspects of this, who knows how much they're going to be talked about. We suspect very little, but this is mostly the headline. I can subscribe for more.